Hey, what's up, guys? This is AJ, and today we are going to talk about systematically important banks. Okay, so what is this means and what's the significance of it? Is we are going to discuss in this lecture. So let's start. So first question is why we need this? What is systematically important banks? See, there is a one financial stability board, which is child of G20 nations. It works with G20 nations, and it looks over the financial situations of the countries. Okay, so what they come up with is that see, the recent crisis that we know the happened in the US was related to the bank. Okay, so bank plays very important role in a financial system of a nation. Okay, so we have to identify those bank. See, there are so many banks in various nations. They have $1 billion of money in them. They largely provide services to the majority of peoples in the country. Like we have State Bank of India, which is almost uh, present in every district of the India. Okay, so they have large base of customer. They have large amount of money in them, deposited in them. They provide services to the large number of people. So if something happens to this bank, it will result in a financial crisis for the nation. Okay, so they are too big to fail. That's what the term they used. Too big to fail means they are too big. So if they fail, if there is a crisis in those banks, it will replicate itself in a financial crisis of the nation. Okay, so it is very important to identify these banks. Okay, and categorize those banks and force them to have additional backup money, so that if there is a crisis, financial crisis, uh, they will they will be able to help themselves. Okay, so for this purpose, a financial stability board came up with the idea of identifying the bank as a systematically important bank. So what they are going to do is that they made two categories. Number one is a global systematically important bank, and the second one is a domestic systematically important bank. So global systematically important banks means the banks which have customer presence across the globe. So many countries they have their branches, and they provide wide services to wide number of people around the world. So they become so important that if something happens to these banks, it will replicate in the financial crisis of the globe. So we have to identify these banks, and then there are domestically systematically important banks, which have their territory presence inside a particular country, and they are very important for the financial situation of that particular country. So we have to identify these banks as well as the banks which are global presence. Okay, so who will do this task? See, global systematically important banks are identified by the Basel Committee. You might have heard the Basel Committee. This committee is going to identify the banks which are very important from the global point of view. Okay, and then there is a second type, domestically systematically important bank. See, these banks are identified by the central bank of that particular country. Like in India we have RBI, Reserve Bank of India, which is central bank of India. It will identify the domestically systematically important banks in India. Okay, like that, you know the Bank of China, will identify the Chinese domestically important banks, and so on. So this way we are going to identify these banks. Okay, then let's move towards the domestically systematically important banks. See, RBI will do the job. RBI will identify the banks which are systematically important in India. Okay, what RBI does is that it each year, it in August, it will disclose the names. Then it will categorize the banks into bucket. See, RBI have developed one system through which it categorize the banks in bucket. See, there are 5 types of buckets. The higher bucket number means high number of amount you have to maintain as a backup. So as you can see the SBI is in bucket number 3 and ICICI is in bucket number 1. That means SBI have to maintain the higher money as a backup, whereas ICICI has to maintain the comparatively less amount of money. There are 5 type of buckets, but there is no bank in a bucket number 5 as if now. Okay, so you can say that RBI will find out about these in next year or another in future time. So right now you have to just remember that SBI is in bucket number 3 and ICICI is bucket number 1. Okay, so and another thing I would like to tell you is that see, the RBI is free to choose the norms. So what will be the category, how to define the banks, how to arrange the bank in a particular category, these types of norms are decided by RBI. So that means the central bank of every country is free to choose the norms through which it will categorize the banks. Okay, so this is the freedom given by the Financial Stability Board. Okay, so the next question arises is what's the benefit of domestically systematically important banks. Okay, so what they are trying to do using these norms is that the RBI want to supervise those banks. Okay, so what happens mainly is that these banks have their own shadow non-banking financial company. Okay, so they do the money laundering things through their NBFCs, which is not good for economy, and RBI want to stop these things. RBI wants to prohibit the banks from going into gray area, which may result in a financial crisis of the country. Okay, so that's why these norms are there to supervise. That means these norms gives power to RBI to supervise these banks. Okay, and then another thing is that these banks, if in case if the financial crisis happens, so at that time these banks will be able to back up themselves, help themselves. Okay, so if they have higher money reserved in their accounts, so they will be able to support the financial crisis. Okay, at that time there will be no need of government intervention, there will be no need of any financial support by the RBI. This is the actual idea. Whether it will result in the same thing is not clear right now, but this is the idea of systematically important bank, that we have to identify them, we have to force them save higher amount of money, so that if the financial crisis happens, they will be able to sustain. Okay, and then there is a criticism, there is a limitations of these norms. See, the first thing is that systematically important banks norms does not control the banks shadow banks. Okay, so what I mean to say is that they are these norms are unable to control the NBFCs created by the big banks. Okay, so the big banks creates NBFCs to I earn the higher number of profit, to use their money and generate a high amount of revenue, uh, which may not be uh, you know uh, helpful for the economic situation of a country. Okay, so if you see, there is a ring fencing law in the United Kingdom, which you know which states completely that uh, NBFCs and banks must be maintained separately. That means if SBI has its own NBFC, then they have to maintain the track separate records of these tools. Okay, we cannot mix these things, and we have to maintain the separate operations, separate system. Everything must be separate between the NBFC and the bank, the parent bank of it. Okay, so these types of law is not available in India right now. Then there is a criticism is that the backup to maintain is very low. In other countries, you have to maintain 3.5% of the uh, total asset of the bank, whereas in India, at most we have to maintain 1%. That is it. That 1% is also have to maintain in a bucket number 5. And as I told you earlier, that there is no bank in a bucket number 5. Okay, then there is one criticism is that to prohibit the the idea is of SIB is to prohibit the financial crisis happening. Okay, so to supervise, to give the power to your RBI to supervise these banks. Okay, in more ways. Okay, so for that there is a report submitted by the Justice B.N. Sri Krishna, which demand, which suggests the central financial regulatory body. Okay, which will look after every financial system in India. So if we implement that, there will be no need of these types of norms like DSIB. So this is another criticism in this DSIB bank norms. And another thing is that where are the other banks, means as we have seen is that there are two banks right now, only ICICI and SBI, but where are other major banks like Citibank, Yes Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank and Punjab National Bank, where these banks are not listed as a systematically important bank, whereas they serve large number of peoples. Okay, so we have to take these things into consideration. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching this video, and I will meet you guys in my next video. Peace.